Hello everyone, welcome to the course Guide to English-Speaking Countries. Today, let's go on to learn English literature. Firstly, let's see some photos. Do you know who are they? Yes, they are important representatives of English literature. They have made great contributions to the diversity of world literature and upgrading of human civilization. Now, let's start with history of English literature to get a better understanding of these figures. English literature has experienced a long and complex process of development. In this process, English literature follows its own laws and goes through different historical stages, such as Anglo-Saxon, Renaissance, Neoclassicism, Romanticism, Realism, and Modernism. The following is an overview of the development of English literature. The Anglo-Saxon period ranges from 449 to 1066. In the 5th century, the three Germanic tribes of Anglo, Saxon, and Jute began to move to Britain. It is the earliest recorded time period in English history. Like other countries, the original English literature was not written, but oral. Stories and legends were passed from mouth to mouth for generations before there was a written version. Beowulf is the earliest piece of literature known in English language. It is written in Old English and marks the beginning of the English literature. Chinese literature starts with Book of Songs, a collection of poems from the early Western Zhou dynasty. In other words, English literature is more than 1,000 years later than Chinese literature. Maybe it is one of the reasons why China is called a nascent civilization country. Beowulf is folk legend brought to England by the Anglo-Saxons. It tells the story of a great national hero. Beowulf is brave, selfless, and ever helpful to his people by killing monsters and fighting with fire dragon. With the Norman conquest in 1066, Britain entered the Middle Ages. Geoffrey Chaucer is the greatest writer of the Middle Ages. His best-known work, The Canterbury Tales, was written in the last 14 years of his life. It is a collection of stories told by group pilgrims from London to Canterbury. Through the vivid description of pilgrims and stories detailed along the way, The Canterbury Tales outlines a picture of varied life of medieval British society. Just like the earliest known Chinese poet Qu Yuan in China, Chaucer's writing has promoted English to a higher level, and he is known as the father of English poetry. The Renaissance marks a transition from medieval to the modern world. It first started in Italy, then swept the rest of Europe. Humanism is the essence of Renaissance. It advocates people-oriented world and opposes God-centered world. English Renaissance is England's golden age, especially in literature. The highest glory of English Renaissance is drama. Among the literary giants in this period, William Shakespeare is the most outstanding dramatist. His works include 2 long poems, 154 sonnets, and 38 plays. Shakespeare portrayed distinctive characters and promoted humanism. His plays have profound ideological content and artistic expression. The Glorious Revolution in 1688 overthrew the Restoration, established the constitutional monarchy. From then on, Britain entered a relatively stable period of development. In the early 18th century, Neoclassicism became fashionable. Neoclassicism advocates rationality, emphasizes clarity, and pursues the perfection of art forms. Jonathan Swift is the greatest satirist in the English language. His style of writing is simple and powerful. Swift's masterpiece is Gulliver's Travels. It is a charming children's story with profound ideological content. Another reason why the 18th century is called prose century is the rise of novels. Robinson Crusoe, written by Daniel Defoe, describes the life of a protagonist on an isolated island, creating an image of rural pioneer and colonist. This novel won Defoe the title of Father of English Novel. At the turn of the 19th century, the style of English poetry changed greatly. In 1798, William Wordsworth and Samuel Coleridge published lyrical ballads. This poetry collection describes the simple life in simple language. It marks the rise of English Romantic literature. Wordsworth made a famous definition of poetry, the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. Romanticism is a reaction to neoclassicism. The content of poetry is no longer a reflection of reality, but real feelings are point. Keats, in Byron and Shelley, the three great poets brought romantic movement to his head. In the early 1920s, Keats, Shelley and Byron died one after another, and the trend of English Romantic poetry gradually declined. The Victorian period is the golden age of realistic English novel. Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice depicts the life and thoughts of the middle class with sensitivity of female writers. Bronte's sisters occupy a unique position in the history of English literature. Shelley's Jane Eyre and Emily's Wuthering Heights attracted great critical attention and became bestsellers. Their works touch a number of important themes: love and passion, self-respect, and independence. Charles Dickens is the most popular English novelist in Victorian period and retains popular till this day. The experience as a child worker made a deep impression on Dickens and left in him resentment against social injustice. In his famous novels Oliver Twist, David Copperfield, and Great Expectations, Dickens showed a picture of the life of the poor and class inequalities in Victorian society. The First World War is usually regarded as the watershed in English history. After it, radical changes took place in Britain. British people's faith in humanity, even the Christian culture tradition, was shaken by the war. The profound change of social ideology promoted the vigorous development of modernist literature. Modernism is a very vague and confusing term. In literature, it includes various modern schools, such as the stream of consciousness. James Joyce from Ireland is regarded as the greatest writer in the history of English literature after Shakespeare. His masterpiece, Ulysses, brings revolution to traditional English novels. Ulysses has a simple plot. It only describes the most common day in the history of Dublin, the capital of Ireland. However, Ulysses is praised by critics as showing the whole life and history of modern society in the West. The success of Ulysses lies in the stream of consciousness. It shows the essence of the life and exploration of people's spiritual world. The Second World War ended in 1945. Britain suffered heavy losses. Thousands of people were killed, the economy was ruined, almost all the colonies were lost. People's worries and dissatisfaction with reality were reflected in the novels in early post-war period. William Golding published Lord of Flies in 1954. Golding's description of evil human nature undoubtedly has a strong sense of the times. In the mid-1950s, a number of distinctive new plays appeared and brought vitality to the development of British drama. For example, Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot represented the main direction of the development of British drama, namely the theatre of the absurd. At the end of the 20th century, realism and experimentalism overlapped. Women writers and minority writers emerged, and English literature showed a trend of diversified development. See you next time. Goodbye.